Let's be clear. Let's be clear, because I
No,
don't want anybody to think that we're slandering the Purple Tape. Purple Tape's in your top three, right?
number three, and
Yeah,
only
I think it's in
and
my top five.
it's only slightly behind Aquemini in my opinion. Aquemini has Liberation and Spody Odie Dopalicious, and there you have the difference.
Yeah, so you got Illmatic, Aquemini, and the Purple Tape.
Correct.
Mm.
Dog style.
I was gonna
Pay me
say I
for it.
might put Doggy Style ahead of the Purple Tape, but I don't know. Purple Tape
Can't
is
do it
just so
because
lyrical.
lyrically, I think the Purple Tape is probably the best album ever, lyrically speaking.
It
So
might
like,
be the most lyrical album ever in hip hop. I think either that or Wu Tang Forever. I think Wu Tang Forever is lyrically dense because it's so much lyricism on there that you
stick to
get
your ribs
lost
like a
in it.
yeah.
But when it comes to the Purple Tape, the performances on there,
What I'm saying,
it's
it stays
crazy.
with you. It
Jizza
stays
came
with
with his A game. Inspector came with his A game. RZA came with his A game. Nas
you.
came with his A game. Method Man came with his A game. You God came with his
You
A
want to know?
game.
You want to know what it is? It's like I don't know how. I mean, Mike, when I used to live on the east side down here when I was a kid, it's like the kids from the neighborhood. We would go to other neighborhoods and we would play ball and we would play football and we would fight. And, sometimes we get our ass whooped, sometimes we whoop ass. But there was very rare that it was like that day where we went into somebody's neighborhood and everybody was like on point and we really just whooped ass and talked shit like the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the purple tape is. Like the
Yeah.
purple tape is like everybody showed up and like whooped ass. It was like everybody on point today. It's like, yeah, everybody on
Yeah.
point. That high five, mother. Yeah, it's like that, like that. It's special like that. I've never seen anything like it actually in the history of rap. Because
Master Killer's A game.
it's
To
Master
see
Killer's A
what
game. It's you guys A game. It's Jizz's A
Yeah.
game. It's Deck A game. It's Mess A hook game, and then his A verse game.
Yeah. It's
It's like
insane.
what? Hold on. Like it's got Nas's A plus game on there. You got Nas's A plus game on there lyrically. It's
I
just
have
crazy.
no idea who has the best verse on Guillotine. I have no idea.
You want to know what? Lyrically speaking, is still the genius, but where Deck is on that first verse, it's the alliteration of it from an actual fundamental rhyme standpoint. It's that alliteration. Poisonous paragraph,
Smash the
smash
phonograph in
the
half.
graph in half. It'd be the inspect the deck on a warpath.
That's some
It's that
crazy
shit
shit.
is crazy. That's
Shout out to Gio with the super chat. He says lemon character lifting. Hold on. What are we doing here? Hold on. Lemon character lifting baby lemon in the air and congratulating him. Okay. We got another super chat too. We got a couple of more to get to, and then I want to get to that verse. LB216 says another episode. Y'all said Jay stole people's flow. He did. Both can be true. Both can be true. He does have an original.
stop for a
We'll get to
second. Can
that.
we
Hold on,
stop
hold
for a
on. Let me
second?
get to this last super chat, and then we'll address that real quick. The L Web says the purple tape is the most cinematic, but ATLians is the most lyrical. That I disagree with, and I'm a huge Outkast fan.
Gigantic.
Um,
And no.
Jay does have his own original flows, but he also has flows that are borrowed from others. Both
Yeah,
can be true.
both can be true, but he's the author of more original flows than borrower of flows, and
Yeah.
we're giving him props. Like, can I go ahead and say this? And you said this behind the scenes, and I'm gonna tell you all exactly what Mike said for Mike. Mike said when Jay fans see that Jay is not number one at anything, they say people are hating, and it's the only time I ever see that. It's like he can't be number one all the time at everything, guys. It's okay. Sensitive thugs, y'all all need hugs.
DeCarlo
Next.
says, Mike, I want to know why y'all hold Akumina so high. I have the infamous, the chronic, and ready to die above that.
No, I mean, okay, so if
Do you want me to? I can go in on that. I've written an article before saying that I argue the
let me
notion
say
that Akumina, pound for pound, could be the greatest hip hop album ever.
the infamous, the chronic, ready to die.
This
I
is
mean,
what I will say.
we have comparable. We have
The
comparable.
infamous, the chronic. All right. First of all, let me start with the infamous and the chronic. And similar to our Pusha T conversation about Common, when you talk about the array of subject matter and just the level of consciousness, musicality, creativity, and just being able to take on a bunch of different topics and notions. You have verses like Andre's verse, the first verse on Aquemini. It sets it apart from, the Bitches Ain't Shit albums. I'm sorry, it just does. You know what I'm saying? When you got Spodio Dopalicious and, you got notions like can't gamble feeding baby on that dope money might not always be sufficient. Real life shit. Or Big Boy on Slump talking about the three strikes
There we
laws.
go. There
You
we
know
go.
what I'm saying? Like, it's different. And when you do that in a collective where the music and everything comes from a whole different place, live music, if you will, very limited sampling as well, if we want to talk about originality and creativity. And the bars are there and the subject matter is there, the experience is there from 23-year-olds. I mean, it's a different level. And I respect the Infamous. I love the Infamous. But they're not touching on these things. They're not. They don't have a Liberation
So
on there. These are X Factor records.
if now I get what he's saying because and I can tell because some of the albums he named is some of my favorite stuff.
Me too. Me too.
These are top 10ish rap albums for me, like all of them, and they probably all would fall in my personal top 10. The Infamous, The Chronic, and Ready to Die have more wow factor and home run records than Aquemini. And that is why all those records that you name are easily, like all of those albums that you name are top 20 rap albums, easy. And it's not even a question or a discussion. And in my opinion, all of those are top 15 rap albums all time, easy, no question, no discussion. None of those albums end to end are what Aquemini is in terms of the diverse array of hip hop that you hear performed at a high level from beginning to end. And Mike is right. And he's saying, when he's saying the whole bitches ain't shit line, what he's really trying to say is like the subject matter on Aquemini is everywhere, is real, is relevant, is relative, and done at an extremely high level. And so y'all can't sit up there and say Pusha T talks too much dope rap and then say that the Infamous is better than the Aquemini and say the Chronic is better than Aquemini and say Ready to Die and Reasonable Doubt are better than Aquemini, because for that reason is why I have the Purple Tape behind Aquemini, because I actually listen to the Purple Tape more than I listen to Aquemini, but my objective mind tells me that what they pulled off on Aquemini is tougher to pull off.
This is why we love Illmatic so much. This is why we love Illmatic so much as well. Like the density of the content and the high level that it's done at, it takes you places.
It does. They bring you into their world. Like Aquemini is their world.
Yeah. Zombie TV has a super chat. Shout out to Zombie TV. He said, y'all name the hits off the Purple Tape. Radio as slow as usual. We know more than them. I dig the convo as usual. Salute, fellas. Yes. You know, I was one of those people back in the day where I was hoping that radio would catch up to the listener. I was listening to the radio so I could hear shadowboxing on the radio. And I would never hear it. It might come on like once a week. I was watching TV so I could hear Bobby Digital's Holocaust or see that video.
I was about to say, never Mike, really do you know how many days I wish they just would have played Ice Water on the radio, the song before Glaciers of Ice on the Purple Tape?
I remember hearing Land of the Heartless one time on the radio, and it was late at night, and I thought it was going to continue, and I never heard it on the radio again.
Beats were crazy.
I remember calling the radio when you used to think that if you called a radio station and request something, they'll play it. I remember calling them requesting the B-side, the Brad featuring Biggie, and they said they were going to play it, and they never played it.
So, hey, you want to know what? Here's what it is. Remember when I was doing the album ratings and I'd be like beats, rhymes, and life, based on the Tribe Called Quest album? The beats and the rhymes on the Purple Tape are better than the beats and the rhymes on the Aquemini. But they're not so far ahead, and it's the life part, Mike. That's the thing with Aquemini.
Yeah.
It's the life part. Even down to and this is what I mean, there's a piece of our blackness even on that album with Rosa Parks, and even what they went through from taking that song and naming it Rosa Parks. And even the content and the subject matter on that song. And eventually even like Dre's verse on there is now official prophecy.
Yes. I mean, listen, the
You know?
brilliance
Yeah.
of his approach on the Rosa Parks record. Like, I know it's one of those songs that we heard on the radio a million times, so we don't really look at it like that. But the way he approached that song, because, I kind of took the song as okay, so our third album, we're back, kind of like what Goody Mob did with, People Don't Dance No More.
Mhm.
But Andre took the time to correlate him talking to an elderly woman on the back of the bus, almost a Rosa Parks figure, and talking about his own mortality in music,
Mhm.
hip hop, rap specifically, and not wanting to be. And I've always thought that, because at the time, Tribe Called Quest, I think they dropped the Love Movement, their final album, the same day. Was it? Yeah, it was the same day Akumenai dropped.
Yes.
And so
And
when he's
volume two.
talking about, his favorite group ain't coming with it, but I'm with you because you're probably going through it. He's
I thought you
talking
were talking
about
about Tribe.
Tribe in my
It's
mind.
Tribe, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. It's like, oh, that's a Tribe shot, straight up and down.
Yeah. I
But
mean,
you're
he's just
probably
being
going through it
honest. You know
anyway.
what I'm
But
saying? And he's saying
anyhow,
that,
I went out and bought it because I thought it would be jammy. Right.
and he's
And
like, the last thing he wants to hear is people saying that an Outkast album is weak. He
so
would
hold on.
rather walk away than go
Right.
out there and make an uninspired effort.
So
And
I
he's
think
telling us this in Rosa Parks.
so. I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. That's him hearing beats, rhymes, and life and not being impressed. Correct.
I think so. Because
And
Beats, Rhymes, and Life I mean, it's an okay album, and I like it. I like some things on it, but it's not the Tribe Called Quest that we know.
oh, the level is down a noticeable notch.
Yeah.
The level is down a noticeable notch
Yeah.
from where the previous efforts are. But that's what he means. He can tell because he's a part of the industry. And so when you're hearing Fife on once again 4 albums deep for Quest, but still be paying dues, that's what Andre's speaking to. Andre's in the game now. He's seeing his idols under pressure, under stress. You know what I'm saying?
And he's starting to feel it too.
And he's seeing the music be affected by it.
Mm-hmm. He's affected by it. Because even after Akumenai, when
ATLians, I mean, you can tell that he's affected by it on ATLians. So.
Yeah. Because even after Akumenai, when he jumps on, well, it's a Dungeon Family song, but he's on Watch for the Hook. And that whole trying to outdo the last verse that I birthed that is my curse. This is directly after y'all just dropped the 5 mic effort. And again, these are things that he said in the music and he said verbally in recent time. Like, he always felt like they were behind the 8 ball and they had something to prove. And the more successful they got, he felt like they had less to prove. And the less they had to prove, the less he felt the necessity to make music.
I hate that he feels that way because
think about it. When they came out of Atlanta, came out the gate, they were coming out of the South. So, boom. That's already something that you're going against. Second album, you're using the momentum from the Source Awards and how you felt in New York when you got booed for Best New Artist.
So hold on. So let's get this straight. Like Southern Playalistic is the gateway.
Mm-hmm.
ATLians is the respect.
Yeah.
Aquemini is the cement.
He really
don't rap, and he really don't rap regularly after that.
He doesn't. That was my critique of Stankonia when it came out. Like, I wasn't expecting the album to even be on a Akumenai level, but I wasn't expecting that he wasn't gonna rap much. And when I say much, and I know it doesn't mean a lot, it doesn't feel like that now because we never hear him rap, but we're talking about being used to him rapping on every song damn near. He might take a song or two off, but any song he's on, he's going to rap on,
When you're saying that it can't be on a Aquemini level, well, it's like, well, we really don't know that because part of the problem with Stankonia and why it's not on a Aquemini level or even ATLians or Southern Playalistic level, in my humble estimation, is because what? Because he doesn't rap on there enough. It is literally, there are 2 problems with that album. It's too many skits, and he's not rapping enough. Cut the skits, put the MC back on. Next.
I think they did that on purpose. Like, it felt like Well, he said, I think he said this too. It might have been the time that it came out, but this was kind of like a fuck you to hip hop because things start sounding similar and the game wasn't interesting, so they just wanted to do something crazy.
No, they did.
And they did. And it was a success. And then it's like,
That's
okay,
great.
well, after the experiment goes well, what do you do next?
I mean, I'm not saying just rap. I mean, you want to know what? Oh,
He's
I'm
not
not joking.
inspired to rap.
Oh, hold on, because this is how great he is. Do you understand that 3 to 4 more verses from him on Stankonia probably changed the whole trajectory and legacy of that album? 3 to 4
Yo,
verses. We're talking about a song worth of material. Tupac used to do 4 verse songs, Mike.
yo,
Knock Off the Show by Tupac. 4 verse song. One of my favorite Tupac songs. 4 verses.
I want to get to this comment because I said this earlier this week. Our listeners are actually in our brains, man. Soulmatic said he was still Andre Benjamin, not yet 3000. And that's funny. I don't think a lot of people really understand Andre 3000 didn't come about until Stankonia. That name, like on the album credits, his name used to be Andre Benjamin. He did not have a rap name until Stankonia. And he didn't stop rapping until he had a rap name, as wild as that sounds. You know what I mean? Because Andre Benjamin was spitting.
Crazy.
Andre Benjamin wasn't out here singing that much. He gave us a little taste on the Kumina with Synthesizer, and they both did that liberation thing. But yeah, Andre Benjamin was the rapper. Andre 3000 is the artist, quote
Mm.
unquote. So I think that's an interesting dynamic. So when people want to put
And
their
you
top
want to know what?
rappers, you need to put Andre Benjamin and not Andre 3000.
It would have been funny also to see him as a solo MC because the way these circles work, these dudes all hear each other's beats. It would have been funny to hear if, like, some of those beats that like floated like Common and Mos and Talib and Thought's way would have ever floated Dre's way, like with a light or a Mrs. Fat Booty or Get By or even a Sixth Sense ever
Yeah.
like crossed his hands. You get what I'm saying?
I
And
don't
what
know
would he have
because,
done?
someone's made, and, me and Ron used to debate about this because we went to high school together. And his argument back then was the fact that, well, we don't know because Andre don't rap over premiere tracks. All these people, you know what I'm saying? Everything that they rhyme on is pretty much in house.
I'm not saying an MC has to rhyme over a premiere track before their career is over.
But we would like to hear what it sounds like. I mean, because
It's just like one of those rap 101 things at this point. It's like we want to hear you on a primo beat. We did it to Snoop.
yeah.
We did it to Snoop. We're like, well, no. We want to hear you on a primo beat, though. Go ahead.
Shout out to Brian
When
with the
you
super
made Doggy
chat.
Style, when you wrote the Chronic.
Shout
Rap
out
on
to
the
Brian
primo.
with the super chat. He says hit making should be a grade on the report card. Commercial success matters. Also, grades on what separates the high level artists from such as skill, technical
Commercial
ability,
success matters.
creativity, flow, and rhyming. So, go
I
ahead.
mean, if commercial success matters, then all the white people are going to get tens because they always sell because they're white. So it's like,
I guess consistent hit making ability. I understand what he's saying. I think that hit making ability, maybe not a lot. Because, all right, let's look at it like this Slick Rick made hits. Slick Rick made classics. But maybe that can be duped into or coupled into making
I'm about to say, he's
classic
got more.
songs.
Like, Slick Rick has more classics than he has like hits in
Right.
terms of stuff that he's released.
Because Mona Lisa is one of those songs that on a technical level wasn't a hit on radio, but it was a street hit.
It's
So what
classic.
about street hits?
I love street hits. Shook One's Part 2. Life's a Bitch. Brooklyn's Finest.
Criminal Minded.
I'm writing down KRS's catalog right now because we're about to have a little conversation. I mean, I'm doing a little catalog run right now. That's
Okay.
what I've been doing on my
Yeah,
show.
because we're gonna talk about
We're
we're gonna talk about our MC rating and what you guys thought about that. We kind of went through some individual comments, and we want to highlight those comments and kind of just basically address them.